Hook, when single dad Ethan pulled over that rainy night, he didn't expect to see his own boss drunk, scared, and surrounded by men who meant her harm. He stepped in without thinking, risking his job and his safety. But what he didn't expect was that the next day, she'd remember every detail and nothing between them would ever be the same again. Ethan Carter had always been a man who kept to himself. A single dad raising his 7-year-old daughter, Lily, he worked long hours at the logistics company just to keep a roof over their heads. He didn't complain, though. Life had beaten him enough times to teach him one thing: no one else was coming to save him. It was close to midnight when he was driving home from a late shift. Rain poured hard, and the road shimmered under the flickering streetlights. That's when he saw a silver car pulled to the side, hazards blinking. A woman stood outside, arguing with 3 men whose laughter didn't sound right. Ethan slowed down. He didn't need trouble, he needed to get home to Lily. But then he saw the woman's face through the rain. It was familiar. Too familiar. Ms. Reynolds, he whispered, Clara Reynolds. His boss. The same woman who walked through the office halls like she owned the world. Cold, distant, untouchable. But now she was shaking, her makeup running, her voice trembling as one of the men grabbed her arm. Ethan pulled over, heart pounding. "Hey," he shouted, stepping into the rain. The men turned, their sneers fading when they saw his broad frame and determined eyes. "Leave her alone," Ethan warned. They exchanged looks but backed off, cursing under their breath. When they finally disappeared into the darkness, Ethan turned to Clara. "Are you okay?" he asked, his voice softer now. She blinked at him, disoriented. "Ethan? From work?" Her words slurred. I didn't need help." He sighed. "Sure didn't look like it." She tried to stand tall, but her knees wobbled. Without a word, he guided her into her car and offered to drive her home. She didn't argue. The silence between them was heavy. The rain tapping against the windshield was the only sound. When they arrived at her apartment complex, Ethan helped her inside, making sure she had water and a blanket. She mumbled something about not wanting to be alone, about everyone only pretending to care because she was their boss. For a moment, she didn't sound like the CEO he knew. She sounded human. Ethan stood by the door. "You'll be fine. Get some sleep." She looked up at him, eyes glassy. "Why did you stop for me?" He hesitated. "Because someone should have." Then he left. Till the next morning, he walked into work, praying she wouldn't remember. Bosses didn't like being seen at their weakest, especially ones like Clara Reynolds. He expected the usual cold stares, maybe even a warning for overstepping boundaries. But when he entered her office for the daily briefing, she looked up directly at him. Her gaze wasn't cold this time. It was steady, quiet, and full of something he hadn't seen before. "Ethan," she said softly. "Close the door." His stomach tightened. "Ma'am, about last night, I remember everything." He froze. She stood, walking around her desk. The faintest smile touched her lips. "You saved me. You could have driven away, but you didn't." "Why?" He didn't know what to say. "I just did what anyone should." "Not anyone," she replied. "Most people wouldn't." The air between them shifted. For once, Clara wasn't the intimidating boss. She was a woman trying to bridge a gap she didn't know existed. Days passed, but something had changed. She started asking him about his daughter, about his life. She noticed things no one else did, like how he skipped lunch to save money or worked overtime just to pay for Lily's school. Then one evening, as he was about to leave, she stopped him again. "Ethan," she said. "There's a company dinner tomorrow night. I want you to come." He frowned. "I don't really belong in that crowd." "I didn't ask if you belonged," she said gently. "I asked if you'd come." He looked into her eyes. This time, there was no boss, no employee. Just 2 people who had both been lonely for too long. At the dinner, he saw a different side of her. She laughed, she smiled, she looked at him like he was the only one there. It was disarming. And when one of her arrogant business partners tried to belittle him for being just a driver, Clara's voice turned sharp. "He's more of a man than anyone in this room," she said firmly. The room went silent. Ethan's chest tightened with emotion he couldn't explain. After that night, things grew complicated. Rumors spread. People whispered. But Clara didn't care. "I don't pretend anymore," she told him one evening as they stood outside the office. Not about who I am, or who matters to me. Ethan shook his head, smiling faintly. You're my boss, Clara. The world won't understand. Then let the world talk, she said quietly. You saved me once, Ethan. Maybe this time, I get to save you from thinking you're not enough. And that was when he realized it wasn't about that one night anymore. It was about two broken people finding the courage to stop pretending, to let their guards down, and to believe, just maybe, that they both deserved a second chance. By the time Ethan took Lily to the park the next weekend, Clara joined them, laughing as Lily tugged her hand. The walls around all three of them began to crumble, replaced by something pure, fragile, and real, and as the sun set, Ethan thought about that rainy night, how he almost drove past. How everything might have been different if he had. Sometimes, the moment you choose to stop for someone else, is the same moment your own life begins to change forever.